Hello and welcome, BitMonger family. Monger here. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. In yesterday's video, I noted that I was seeing weakness in the market, and sure as shit, man, it fucking dumped. I think the sky is falling. Just kidding. But hey, to be real, markets have been on an absolute fucking tear. And Bitcoin is still correlated to the NASDAQ and the S&P, to the stock markets. Nothing goes up in a straight line forever. And I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. There's some cause for concern here, guys. We could be seeing a healthy pullback, and it wouldn't surprise me. Generally, things tend to mean revert. And that's just the way things work. Bitcoin did hit a new all-time high at 125K. That had actually been right where I had expected it. Prior to the ETF news, I was based on my predictions and my models and diminishing returns and the cycles. I had predicted that Bitcoin was going to be somewhere between 120 and 130K. So the fact that it hit 125K and then turned around and dumped doesn't really surprise me that much. Where is it going? I'm still bullish, guys. I'm still bullish. A lot of it, though, is going to be dependent upon what the Fed does in September. Do they lower rates? That is going to be a huge thing that we need to be looking at. And how the markets react. But in the short term, generally September is a shit month. Things are going a little bit faster. So are we starting to see that shittiness start sooner than later? Perhaps. Let's take a look at some things right here. And it's kind of scary and shocking, but let's just look at these things real quick. So here we're looking at the NASDAQ. And from the bottom here, from Liberation Day, when Trump came out and said that he was going to tax the fuck out of everybody, and the market dumped. Look at that, man. Look at that recovery. If you had bought that bottom, you would be up almost 47%. My fucking God. And this is just a stock index. This is just the NASDAQ. That, guys, is insano. Absolutely fucking insano. So, would I be surprised if we get a pullback? No. And look at the RSI too. This is the weekly chart, guys. This is the weekly. And look at that, guys. It is, based on this, it is getting overbought. So, any surprises that we might see a pullback? Not one fucking bit. Not one fucking bit, guys. Let's take a look at Bitcoin and what Bitcoin's doing. So, we can see Bitcoin did break through. Let me put this on the daily. Okay, so we can see that Bitcoin came right down. It broke through that 112K. We're currently trading at 109.6. And I'm looking at this range right here, guys. We can see that it was consolidating inside this range for quite a bit before it finally broke out of that and went up. So I'm targeting this range, and the center of this range right here is 106.5, 106.44. So I would be putting in bids down there and have a tight stop loss. If you're looking for a spot position, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You can put it in there. Anywhere in this region, I think is still good. I do believe if we do get a rate cut in September, markets are going to absolutely fucking rip. The line in the sand down here is I had told you guys to buy down here at 98K, and you can see it did touch that back then in last June. if you bought that, good on you. You made some really good money. Hopefully you took some profits off the table. If you were using leverage, you got out of that trade, made money. Yeah. Now looking at the RSI on the daily, we are breaking down here, so we're getting kind of low. Hey, if the stock markets show weakness and they dump, this could absolutely go down as well. So something to consider, guys. You know, if you're using leverage, make sure that you have very, very tight stop losses. Now, this probably isn't a recommended way of trading with leverage. I'll put in a small order on one fib level and for a small amount. And then I'll have a larger order further down in case it goes down there. Because I do like to have some skin in the game when there's uncertainty. You always want to have a little bit of skin in the game, unless it's actually confirmed that things are just, going to shit. But what I'll do is sometimes I'll take a small order, I'll put it on there, I'll put it on that fib level, and I'll have another larger order down on the next fib, which is significantly larger with a tighter stop loss on it. And that has worked well for me. So it's something that you guys might want to consider doing. I'm sure professional traders would not recommend that technique, but I've done it before and it actually has really worked well for me. Let's take a look at what's going on with Ondo. As you guys know, I recently made a huge amount of money on Ondo. I sold it off and it's come back down, and I actually got another order in. If we can see right here, this fib level, the 0.5, is like right around 89 cents. And I put my order down there and it got triggered today. The next level down here is between 82 and 83. And I'm going to be putting in some orders down here. I got a fairly tight stop loss underneath here at 80. I can't remember the exact amount, but I put in a stop loss under 89. I gave it some room to breathe, though. I'm willing to accept the loss because I can see that this has been a very strong line in the sand, guys. In the past, it's bounced off of it. It's come down some. We can see it was here before. So I'm okay doing that. Something that you might want to consider doing. You might want to put a order in at 89 cents on Ondo. Currently, it's trading at 92. So, and I also added to my position on Axelar. I had a leverage position and a spot position on that, and I am going to add to that. And I have orders in lower on Axelar. As far as Camino is concerned, I got kicked out of my trade. I did move up my stop loss, so I did get out of that trade with some nice profit. And Camino, just so you guys know, Camino is going to be doing a token unlock on the 30th. And they are going to be dumping like 29 million coins. So we could be seeing some sell pressure on Camino. I do have some orders in case it does dump. And right now we're back above where I had previously bought it at 0.54. So anyways, never, guys, never ever try to revenge trade. Never ever try to catch something that is going up. There's always opportunities around the corner. You never ever want to try to chase something. It's just a fucking horrible idea. Always wait for things. The key to trading, guys, is being patient. Really being patient. Setting orders in. Having good risk management. That is how you're going to win. And if you can really pull this off, if you're super patient, this is, I find, really, really good. You only buy extreme fear and you sell when you're starting to get into near extreme greed. If you just follow that and you're patient, generally you're going to be a winner. As long as you're not buying any kind of extreme fear at the beginning of a bear market, generally you can tell whether or not it's near the top and it's going into a bear. You got to wait for some huge downturn. I'm talking like in crypto, you should be looking at least a 50% dip. So on Bitcoin, it's pretty easy to see when that happens. And wait until you get into extreme fear after you've seen that kind of dip. If you buy that and then you just sit on it and you're patient, you wait until you get back into some sort of near extreme greed, then you're generally going to make a lot of money, guys. But it takes a lot of patience. Most people don't have patience. But if you know that, if you understand that, you can use that to your advantage. It's always about trying to use things to your advantage to get ahead. There's one other thing that I wanted to talk about that I noticed yesterday. I don't know how many of you guys noticed it. Tell me if you noticed it in the comments. But did you see what Solana did yesterday? Solana started to outperform Ethereum. It was moving up. And I think that we were starting to see some sort of rotation. And it might be premature. But I believe if you guys know the flow of money within crypto, what happens is it goes from Bitcoin into Ethereum and then into the larger market caps. And I thought I was witnessing yesterday that kind of flow going into more risk into Solana. And if you look at the Sol ETH chart, it looks like it might be getting near a bottom. So something to consider, guys. If we see a big dump on Solana and you believe this market is still bullish, I would be adding to my Sol position because I think that's the next one to rip. Also, we have ETFs coming soon for Solana. And I heard that, what was it? I think it's Galaxy Digital is looking to form a company and put Solana as a treasury asset. If that happens, we will see some big bids coming in on Solana, I believe. And one last thing. There's a guy that I do follow on X. His name is Marty Party. And he posts liquidation levels all the time. And he's been very, very accurate about that. And we can see here, check this out. We can see we had a liquidation level here where Bitcoin, it hit that 11,000. What was it? 11.7 roughly. We had roughly a $60 million liquidation. If you guys just put your orders in around those points, generally speaking, usually there's usually a wick down and a bump up, but it usually a tight stop loss. But if you do that, you'll generally get winners. All right, guys, there you have it. Hope you're all doing well, and Monger on.